I'm going to try and keep it pretty short and concise, because I don't really believe that what a woman chooses to do with her body, as long as it doesn't harm anyone in the process, is really not anyone else's business. But because of the nature of my job and the nature of the community that we have built over the years together, I do feel like I owe you this. And I do feel like I owe you a little bit of insight into how it all came about. I'm going to talk about a couple different things. First would be my anxiety a little bit. Next would be my identity. And third, and maybe a little bit more minimal, is going to be the community. So I'm going to start really quickly with the anxiety. For the past couple months to a year, my anxiety has kind of reached an all-time high, where I have this kind of cloud of sadness that I just feel is constantly around me. And I kept wondering what it was that was causing me so much stress. And I kept thinking, you know, it's work, it's going to be like, okay, I'm going to get to the next thing and it's going to be fine and it'll all work itself out, and then when we sign this deal, it's going to be okay, and then when we do like a new thing, it's going to be fine. But it just never felt like I was getting there. And I have come to the realization that because so much of my online life is spent having everyone believe that they can truly live authentically and really be themselves, and I just no longer feel like I represented that well. And so there was like a fissure of something that I was saying, but nothing that I was doing for myself. And I think that anxiety really stemmed from that kind of like duality of both of those things, not ever kind of meeting up the way that they should. So that would be the first. Second, I want to talk a little bit about identity. And I want to talk about identity because this is a choice that I made when I was 19 years old, and when I chose to cover. And choosing to cover at 19 felt so right. It felt spiritually correct, it felt mentally correct, it felt physically correct. It felt like a little bit of armor for everything that I knew I was going through at the age of 19, whatever it means to be 19. And now I'm 29, turning 30 in, I don't even want to say. I'm turning 30 in a bit. And as I've aged, I've grown so much. And I've grown on here with you guys for a lot of years, pretty much all of my 20s. And I'm so proud of the woman that I've really become. I've left so many silly ideas of other people behind, silly ideas of myself behind, these beliefs that kind of run into you by osmosis a little bit, purely based on who you surround yourself with. And I've really kind of gotten my life to a point that my identity is so ingrained in my in the growth that I've had, and the people that I surround myself with, and in the family that I have, alhamdulillah, been so blessed to create, with my husband and with chosen friends. And it's been just so nice. And so the disconnect of the anxiety, the disconnect of my identity, how I truly feel, and the identity that I continue to portray online, despite having, I think, outgrown it a little while back, caused me so much sadness that I just wasn't being 100% honest with who I was to myself. And I guess now, to a degree, with you guys. And I'd really like that to not be so anymore. That's not to say that I never identified with my scarf or with being in the modest fashion community, because I completely did and completely still do. But that brings me to my third point, which is the community. After years and years, I think, of fighting for our right to be shown in media and the right for proper representation of Muslims, and especially Muslim women who choose to cover, I feel like we're finally starting to receive the media attention and media representation that we deserve. And because I can no longer say that I most beautifully identify with my headscarf, I think that it's time for me to take a step back from that and allow women, my own peers, that have been in this modest fashion space with me for so long, who wake up every single day representing a Muslim woman in a headscarf so well. I can no longer say that I feel comfortable taking a spot in campaigns or in media where they want that Muslim hijabi representation. I don't think, because of my inability to identify with it anymore, that it is fair for me to continue doing it. This has not been an easy decision whatsoever, because I know that it's not going to be the most well-received decision. But just as I have continued to fight and will continue to fight for a woman's right to choose how she's going to cover her body, I really hope that I can have you guys fight for me too. I know that many of you are going to leave, and that this will probably be the end of our communication, or a part of this kind of community that we've built together over all these years. And the only thing that I can say to you going, which you definitely have a right to do, is that I hope you go kil sahha wa kil salama, in all health and all peace. And